Archangel Michael says, the truth hidden in the shadows has finally cracked open. The air tonight is heavier than usual, carrying whispers that tremble with fear and urgency. Somewhere, behind closed doors, a woman connected to your ex has just let out a confession so chilling that it shakes the ground beneath your steps. Her words were not meant for you to hear, yet heaven itself made sure they slipped into the path of your destiny. She is terrified, trembling at the weight of what she revealed, because she knows once this reaches you, nothing will ever remain the same. The secret was guarded for too long, but now the cracks cannot be sealed. The shocking revelation did not come in calmness, it came with tears, stammered words, and a desperate plea for mercy. This woman's fear is not only about what she said, but about what will now follow, for the truth unleashed has a power that cannot be reversed. Every sound around you, every sudden silence tonight, feels like a signal pointing at this storm. The walls around you are no longer silent, they echo with the sound of betrayal traveling fast. She confessed because she could not carry the burden any longer, and in doing so, she exposed the lies your ex buried deep. You must prepare, because once you learn what she said, the entire story of your past will twist into something unrecognizable. Type Amen 333 to claim your protection from the storm. The woman knows that what she revealed is dangerous, yet she had no choice but to let it spill. Her heart beats with terror, because the truth she spoke could destroy reputations, relationships, and even lives. She is linked to your ex, not by accident, but by secrets woven together like tangled threads. Her confession is a knife that cuts through the illusions you once lived under. She admitted that the person you once trusted has been weaving dark plans behind your back for longer than you imagined. She confessed about conversations that happened when you were not around, about silent agreements that betrayed your name. The trembling in her voice was real, because she knew exposing it meant crossing a dangerous line. Still, she could not sleep, could not breathe, until the truth was whispered into existence. Heaven orchestrated this moment because you were not supposed to stay blind any longer. Her confession carried names, dates, and hidden moves you never saw. She spoke of letters exchanged, of shadows watching your every step, and of a scheme that was not only personal but deeply dangerous. The fear in her eyes revealed it all. She knew what your ex planned could break you completely if you did not awaken now. Type Amen 444 if you believe protection is falling over you right now. This woman was not supposed to reveal anything, but her soul was burning. She admitted to hearing the conversations late at night, the coded words, the deals struck behind your back. She spoke of how your ex smiled in front of you, yet plotted with others in silence. She could no longer hide the truth of the financial dealings, the secret messages, the lies layered with careful precision. She said things that would make your heart stop, because they were meant to never reach your ears. Yet the truth is now at your door. The shocking part is not only what she confessed, but how terrified she was while saying it. Her hands shook, her voice cracked, and her eyes darted around as if someone was already watching her. This was not just a casual revelation, it was a warning carried through fear. You were meant to be blindsided, but heaven refused to let you fall into their trap. The confession has come to you because time is running out. Everything she exposed is a piece of a puzzle that finally shows what has been built against you in the dark. Type Amen 555 to seal your blessing and protection in this moment. The silence of the night is heavy, but within it lies the echo of her trembling words. She sat with her face pale, unable to meet the eyes of those around her as she confessed the truth that has been buried for far too long. The weight of her fear was stronger than her loyalty, and so the hidden wound was finally torn open. Archangel Michael says, "What was once hidden in the shadows is now revealed, and you are being pulled into the light of truth." The woman was shaking as she spoke, because she knew the consequences of exposing what was never meant to be known. She whispered of plans that were set in motion quietly, and of betrayals that would cut deeper than any blade. She admitted that your ex was not acting alone, but had someone watching every detail of your life. She confessed about secrets traded like currency, and of actions taken behind your back that left scars invisible but deep. Her fear was not of you, but of the forces that would turn against her now that she has spoken. The truth she revealed is heavy, for it carries the power to change everything you thought you knew about your past and your present. This is not just a betrayal, it is an unraveling of everything that was once disguised as love. And now, you are standing on the edge of a storm that has been quietly building for years. Type Amen 333 to stand in protection over your life right now. Her confession began with a shaking voice, but the deeper she went, the more her tears betrayed her. She spoke of conversations that were never meant for your ears, of nights filled with whispers plotting steps against you. Every word she revealed painted a picture of deception carefully designed to keep you blind. The woman described the way your ex carried a smile that masked intentions darker than you ever imagined. She admitted that people close to you were being manipulated, drawn into games they didn't even know they were playing. The truth was bigger than a single betrayal, it was a web of deceit spun around you. She confessed that your ex's heart carried no loyalty, only schemes. The lies were built like walls, each one stronger than the last, so you would never suspect the truth. Yet tonight, those walls crumbled with her words, because heaven made sure the secret would not stay hidden. Her fear was real, because she knew this truth could put her in danger. She didn't only confess out of guilt, she confessed because she was terrified of what would happen next. In her heart, she knew the truth would find its way to you, and she could no longer stop it. Type Amen 444 to claim the shield of blessings over your path. The woman revealed that your ex's betrayal was not sudden, but planned over time. She admitted there were letters, hidden meetings, and deals you never knew existed. She said things that made even her own voice tremble, as if the words themselves carried curses. She described how your ex moved in silence, covering every track with skill, but forgetting one thing: truth can never stay buried forever. She spoke of how someone close to you was used, how trust was broken in ways you could never imagine. Her hands shook as she explained that you were marked for loss, while your ex built a future on stolen ground. Archangel Michael says, "The truth is your weapon, and the fear in her heart is the proof of how dark the plan was." She was not ready to confess, but her soul could not take the weight of silence any longer. And so, even with tears in her eyes, she spoke. Her words carried the power of revelation, and though they pierced like knives, they also opened your eyes to the schemes of the past. She said your ex had been laughing in moments you cried, celebrating in silence when you thought you were broken. She told of masks worn so well, you never saw the enemy standing so close. Type Amen 555 to call in the blessing of freedom from every hidden trap. Her confession spread like fire, unstoppable once it began. She told of messages sent in the dark, of calls made in secret, and of promises exchanged that would make your heart shatter. She admitted that what you lost in the past was no accident, it was planned. The woman wept because she too was trapped in the circle of deception. She carried the guilt of knowing and staying silent, but now the truth forced itself out of her mouth. Her fear was more than regret, it was the dread of what comes when the hidden becomes exposed. She revealed that your ex was not only lying to you, but also to everyone else. She described the dual life lived in shadows, a life built on secrets and betrayal. She said it was only a matter of time before the weight of lies crushed everything. Her tears fell because she realized the damage done could not be erased. Yet even in her fear, she hoped that by speaking, she was saving you from something far worse. Her words are now the torch in the darkness, showing you the road you were never meant to see. Type Amen 666 to protect your spirit and soul from the heaviness of betrayal. Her voice was trembling, but her words struck like thunder in the night. She could no longer hide what she knew, because the truth was burning inside her chest like fire. The fear in her eyes revealed how dangerous her confession really was. She admitted that your ex was never truly gone from your life, only working silently in the background. She revealed that shadows were placed around you, people sent to observe, to gather every small detail about your steps. This was not just betrayal, it was surveillance crafted with precision. The woman said she heard things that froze her blood. She spoke of conversations that hinted at destruction, of whispers that planned your downfall. What terrified her most was not just what was said, but who else was involved. Archangel Michael says, "You are not alone in this war, for heaven is unveiling what was meant to destroy you." The confession has come at the right time, pulling you from the edge of danger. And though her fear is real, her words are the key that opens the hidden door. Type Amen 777 to lock this protection over your destiny. Her voice cracked as she spoke of meetings that happened in dimly lit rooms. She described papers signed in secrecy, promises exchanged under the cover of silence. These were not small betrayals, they were carefully constructed moves designed to erase your path. The woman revealed that your ex smiled at your struggles, secretly feeding them to grow deeper. She confessed that when you were hurting, they celebrated in the dark. Every detail she gave tore away the mask of false affection. She spoke of money being shifted, of names being used, of lies spoken so convincingly that no one questioned them. She said you were meant to be painted as the enemy, while your ex played the victim with expert precision. The shocking part was how many believed the illusion. Her fear came from knowing that speaking against this plan would put her at risk. She knew the reach of your ex, the influence and control they held. Yet her soul could not carry the secret another day, so she let the truth fall into the open. Type Amen 888 to step fully into the circle of divine safety. Her confession deepened, and with every word, the air grew heavier. She described the way messages were hidden, coded in plain sight, so no one could easily discover them. Your ex built a network of lies stronger than stone, but tonight it cracked. She admitted that part of the reason she confessed was because she saw how close you were to danger. She could no longer watch in silence, knowing what was about to unfold. Her fear was not only for herself but for what could happen to you. The woman described how your ex partnered with someone unexpected, someone close enough to betray without raising suspicion. She spoke of secret alliances forged with smiles and handshakes, yet laced with poison beneath. The betrayal was deeper than you thought. It was not only personal but strategic. Tears rolled down her face as she said your name. She admitted she had seen you broken before, but what was being planned was far worse. That was why her fear was greater than her silence, because she knew if she didn't speak now, you might not survive what was coming. Type Amen 999 to declare final victory over every shadow raised against you. Her hands shook as she described a hidden letter, tucked away for months. That letter, she said, carried the evidence of what was truly done. Its words exposed the plan in full detail, but it was hidden away so you would never find it. She admitted she stumbled upon it by accident, and that was when her world collapsed. She realized everything she thought she knew about your ex was a lie. It terrified her because the letter held proof strong enough to shatter everything. Archangel Michael says, this revelation is not to break you but to awaken you. The confession came at the moment you needed it most, because heaven refused to let you walk blind any longer. What was meant to remain in silence is now rising in light. The woman begged for forgiveness, not because she betrayed you, but because she carried the knowledge too long. She knew her silence cost you pain, yet her fear of speaking was stronger until now. Finally, she chose truth over fear, and the darkness broke. Type Amen 1111 to seal this truth and keep your path guarded. Her confession did not stop there, because once truth begins to pour, it refuses to be silenced. She described the way your ex carefully placed traps around you, waiting for the right moment to strike. Every move you made, every step forward, was being monitored in the shadows. The woman explained that your victories made them restless, that your growth caused jealousy to boil. She said that behind the smile, your ex carried resentment so deep that it turned into plans of destruction. What she revealed was not just betrayal, it was obsession cloaked in secrecy. She confessed about nights when secret calls were made, voices plotting in low tones so no one would hear. The woman said she was in the room once, and the chill of those words never left her. That was the night she realized the truth was far darker than anyone imagined. Her fear grew as she explained how those closest to you were tested, manipulated, and sometimes even bribed. She said not everyone fell into the trap, but enough did to leave cracks in your trust. This was not just a secret. It was a campaign of silent sabotage. Type Amen 1212 to stay under the blessing of divine justice. The woman's confession carried names, and those names were heavier than stones. She said they were people you would never suspect, faces you saw with comfort, now revealed as masks hiding betrayal. Her voice quivered as she admitted she herself was once used as a messenger in this scheme. She explained how she was manipulated into carrying words she didn't understand at the time. Only later did she realize those words were codes, instructions meant to move the plan forward. That guilt had haunted her ever since, pressing on her chest every night. Tears streaked down her cheeks as she admitted she should have told you sooner. She said the fear of losing everything kept her bound, but now, the fear of what would happen if she stayed silent was greater. The truth demanded to be heard, and so she spoke. Archangel Michael says, her confession is not just words, it is your shield. The truth is a sword that cuts through every lie spoken against you. And while her fear is real, it is also the sign of how powerful this revelation is. Type Amen 1313 to break every hidden trap assigned against your name. Her story grew heavier as she spoke of secret gatherings. She described the way your ex sat at a table, discussing you as though you were only a game piece to be removed. The casual cruelty in their voices chilled her to the bone. She revealed how your ex created false stories to paint you as unstable, weak, or reckless. These lies were whispered into ears that trusted them, spreading like poison through hearts that once stood by you. The betrayal was not only behind your back but also in the hearts of others. The woman admitted she saw letters exchanged, unsigned but filled with meaning. These letters carried instructions that would shock anyone who read them. She said if they ever surfaced, everything your ex built would collapse in an instant. Her fear deepened as she realized she had seen too much. That was why her confession was filled with trembling, because she knew the moment she spoke, there was no turning back. Yet still, she spoke, because silence was no longer an option. Type Amen 1414 to claim the covering of heaven over your life right now. She continued, saying your ex's deception was deeper than anyone realized. She revealed that alliances were formed with strangers you never even met. Deals were struck using your name, without your knowledge, creating chains around your future. She admitted she once held documents that mentioned you directly. At first, she did not understand their meaning, but later the truth became undeniable. These papers were proof that your ex was moving against you in ways you never suspected. The woman said the more she pieced together, the more terrified she became. She began to fear for her own safety, because she realized too much. She could no longer look at your ex without seeing the shadows in their eyes. Archangel Michael says, the lies have reached their limit, and now they collapse under the weight of truth. You were never abandoned, heaven was watching, and that is why the confession reached you in time. The storm was near, but so was your protection. Type Amen 1515 to stand victorious against every scheme of betrayal. Her words fell like sharp blades cutting through the silence of the night. She revealed how your ex had been holding grudges, feeding them secretly like flames that would not die. The woman trembled as she described how anger had turned into dangerous intention. She explained that your ex's bitterness was not just emotional but carefully planned. Every smile shown to you was a disguise, every kind word a mask hiding a darker truth. The woman's confession stripped away every illusion that once blinded you. Her voice shook as she recalled the night she overheard a plan too dangerous to ignore. The conversation was not just about betrayal, it was about breaking your spirit completely. She could still hear the chilling tone in which your name was spoken. She admitted that your ex had joined forces with someone close to your circle. This was not coincidence but strategy, a partnership meant to hit you where it hurt the most. That realization alone was enough to terrify her into finally speaking. Type Amen 1616 to shield your heart from every dagger of betrayal. The woman confessed she had seen messages hidden in innocent-looking notes. At first, she thought nothing of them, until she read one fully and her heart froze. It was filled with instructions that made it clear your downfall was being arranged. She admitted she once confronted your ex about it, but the cold response she received left her shaken. Instead of denial, she was met with a chilling silence, followed by a smile that confirmed her worst fears. That smile has haunted her since that night. She revealed that she too was threatened with silence. Your ex told her that if she ever dared to expose the truth, her life would never be the same again. Those words weighed on her every day, keeping her prisoner in fear. Archangel Michael says, "The time for silence has ended." The confession she carried is a gift of truth, breaking every chain that was wrapped around your life. Heaven ensured that the mask of betrayal would fall at the appointed time. Type Amen 1717 to lock divine justice over your destiny. Her tears did not stop as she spoke about money that was moved secret. The woman described late-night conversations filled with mocking laughter. She remembered hearing your struggles being turned into jokes, your pain twisted into entertainment. It broke her spirit, and that night she swore she would never forgive herself for staying silent. She admitted that your ex's power came not from love but from manipulation. They built a world of lies so strong, even those closest to you believed in it. But every lie has an expiration date, and that is why her confession arrived now. Her fear grew heavier as she described how deep the web truly was. It was not one lie, but many, layered so carefully that exposing one would pull down the rest. That collapse has already begun, because her words have opened the first crack. Type Amen 1818 to walk in divine strength as the truth unfolds. She spoke of a hidden storage box, one that carried documents your ex never wanted you to see. Inside were details of dealings, betrayals, and names that would shock you. She admitted she only saw it once, but that one glimpse was enough to break her trust forever. The woman said your ex's plan was more than personal, it was about control. They wanted to keep you trapped, powerless, unable to rise to your full strength. Every step you took forward was countered by silent hands pulling you backward. She explained how she was used to deliver false messages to others. At the time, she thought they were harmless, but later realized they were weapons disguised as words. The guilt of that realization weighed heavily on her soul. Archangel Michael says, the guilt she carried has now transformed into your awakening. Every word of her confession is heaven's way of pulling you out of the trap. What was meant to destroy you has become the very thing that saves you. Type Amen 1919 to claim the light that breaks every dark scheme. Her eyes darted around as though she feared being overheard. She whispered about strange figures who appeared near her home after she discovered too much. It was then she knew this was bigger than she imagined, and her silence was no longer safe. She admitted she saw your ex meet with someone late at night. Their faces were serious, their voices low, but the tension in the air was undeniable. She could not hear everything, but the fragments were enough to terrify her. She said your name was mentioned along with threats of destruction. The words were heavy, filled with malice that could not be mistaken. That was the night she realized danger was closer than ever. Her confession poured out because she knew the truth had to reach you. She chose courage over fear, because heaven pushed her to reveal what she carried. And though her heart still shakes, her words are your weapon now. Type Amen 2020 to walk boldly in the protection of heaven. Her breath was uneven as she revealed more of what had been buried. She said the silence she carried nearly destroyed her, but now the words poured out like a flood. The weight of truth was too heavy for her to keep hidden any longer. She admitted that your ex's betrayal was not just fueled by jealousy but by greed. There were hidden gains, secret advantages, and stolen opportunities that were built on your pain. Every step you lost was a step your ex used to climb higher. The woman confessed that she had seen files marked with your name. They were hidden carefully, tucked away where no one would suspect. Inside them were details that proved your ex had been weaving lies to control how others saw you. Her voice cracked as she spoke of one file in particular, a document that carried evidence sharp enough to destroy reputations. That was when she realized this was no ordinary secret. It was a calculated design meant to erase you. Type Amen 2121 to keep the walls of blessing firm around you. Her hands trembled as she continued, describing how your ex had used charm to build allies. She admitted that many people fell for the mask, believing in the false innocence presented to them. But behind those smiles lived manipulation and cunning. She spoke of how she too was blinded at first, defending your ex when whispers of doubt appeared. But as time passed, she saw the mask slip in private moments. What she saw beneath shook her to her core. The woman explained that your ex thrived on control. They used fear, lies, and silence as weapons. Anyone who dared to challenge them was quickly cornered into submission. She admitted that the reason she was terrified was because she had been silenced before. She had been warned never to speak, but now, something inside her could no longer stay quiet. The confession was forced out by heaven's hand. Type Amen 2222 to call down divine justice upon every hidden plan. Her story became darker as she described the night she saw your ex meet with a stranger. The air was tense, filled with unspoken danger. The conversation she overheard confirmed the betrayal was not only emotional, it was also dangerous. She said she heard money being exchanged, promises being made, and your name being used as part of the bargain. That night, her fear grew into terror. She realized this was no longer just betrayal of the heart, it was betrayal of life itself. The woman revealed that the plan was meant to break you down so badly that you would never rise again. Every piece of it was designed with precision, like a trap waiting for its prey. You were never supposed to see it coming. Her tears fell harder as she begged for forgiveness. She admitted she should have warned you earlier. But fear held her hostage until tonight. Type Amen 2323 to seal protection over your spirit and your future. Archangel Michael says, the truth will never stay buried forever. Lies may rise for a season, but the light always breaks through. That is why her confession reached your ears now, at the exact moment you needed it. She described how your ex had even manipulated those closest to you, convincing them of false stories. Friends turned distant, allies went silent, not because of truth but because of poison whispered into their ears. The woman admitted she saw this happen with her own eyes. She explained how carefully your ex calculated every move, waiting for your weakest moment to strike. Yet she also admitted that something always stopped the final blow. She now believes it was not luck, it was divine intervention. Her fear was not only about the past but also about what could come next. By speaking, she knew she had put herself at risk. Yet she also knew that if she stayed silent, the darkness would continue. Type Amen 2424 to step fully into the circle of divine victory.